Hey, welcome to the Creepy Villain MMA show. I am your host, Creepy Uncle Nick. Dylan the Villain was unable to be with us today. I'm going to go ahead and apologize for two things. One, I noticed my voice isn't matching up with my lips too well. And then two, for Dylan not being here. He will make his picks and have them on Facebook so that we can have our competition next week. And just so you guys don't miss him too much, I decided to put a little picture of him on here. Here he is. Boom. I hope you guys all enjoyed that. That was him being gay as good as he can possibly be. Alright, first we're going to start off with some news. Stefan Struve is going to be fighting Pat Barry in a battle of hopefully stand-up where we see Stefan Struve get knocked out again. Eddie Alvarez is fighting Michael Chandler in Bellator. Eddie Alvarez needs to fight some top guys. He needs to get out of Bellator because there's no fight for him there. Alistair Overeem, the Strikeforce heavyweight champ who pulled out of the Grand Prix, will be fighting in a local fight a few weeks later than the Grand Prix was supposed to be, out for United Glory. Seems a little weird to me that he would pull out of a major fight to go fight for a local fight that's only a few weeks later. Sounds either like someone's ducking something, or who knows, we'll see. I don't agree with it whatsoever. He should have stayed in the Grand Prix. Dennis Seaver will be fighting Sam Stout. That's going to be a good fight. Both from stand up. Dennis Seaver's got awesome back kicks. Carlos Condit will be fighting BJ Penn. Condit's on a big win streak, and Penn's trying to bounce back from that Fitch draw. One of my favorite fighters, Joe Lozon, will be fighting Melvin Gillard, who's on an awesome win streak himself. Both of them are really good fighters. Anthony Showtime Pettis is fighting Jeremy the Little Heathen Stevens. Now, I'm also going to apologize for butchering this first guy's name because I cannot say it. But on the Strikeforce Fedor versus Dan Henderson card, there's a lot of good fights on it. A lot of them are going to be tough battles, and I can't wait to watch them this Saturday on Showtime. The first fight that I'm going to go over is Tarek Sapadin. That's him right there with the amazing stand-up, versus one of my favorite guys to watch because he's so entertaining, is Scott Hanty Steel Smith, who's always in wars and always got that one punch chance. I'm going to probably go with Tarek because I think he's faster and probably a bit more well-rounded of a stand-up than what Scott Smith has. And I think he's going to wind up pulling it out. But Scott Smith he beat Kung Lee that one time by that freak. He's always a tough guy. He always pulls them out somehow. Next is one of my least favorite fighters. Paul Daly is going to be fighting Tyrone Woodley, who is an amazing wrestler and a beast. His stand-up is improving, and he's very fast. Paul Daly's got one-punch knockout power, and that's going to be the theme of this fight, is one-punch knockout power. Paul Daly's got a good chance of winning. He just fought Nick Diaz and had an awesome fight. That was an awesome fight with Nick Diaz. I'm going to go with Tyrone Woodley because he's a better wrestler, and Paul Daly has proven to have problems with wrestling. Tyrone Woodley's also fast, and I think he's going to be able to pull this one out. It should be entertaining, though, and I will never count out Paul Daly because he's got just heavy hands, and one punch by him, and anybody's going to go to sleep in that division. Next fight. Army Special Forces Tim Kennedy will be going against Robbie Lawler, who is one of my, again, favorite fighters with one-punch knockout power and heart. Lawler had that one fight against Melvin Manhoff where Melvin Manhoff was just beating him terribly. And all of a sudden Robbie Lawler lands like one big shot and out went freaking Melvin Manhoff. He's got that potential against anybody. He's got heavy hands, and Tim Kennedy could go 9-9 on this one. I'm going to pick Tim Kennedy on it. I think he's just a tougher guy. I can see Robbie Lawler winning. He's definitely got more experience, but I'm just going to go with Tim Kennedy. Maybe it's a patriotic duty for me to do, but I just have a hard time seeing him. I think his game is all around good, not great. He's not great at anything, Tim Kennedy. but he's good everywhere and he's tough everywhere. So I think he'll wind up winning. The women's championship is on the line, where Marlos Conan, who is again a tough one to say, he's got amazing jiu-jitsu, and I wish I was that chick. By the way, we'll be going against, as you've seen pop up at the end, Miesha Tate, who is also a model. Go figure. Because hold on, did you see that rump? That's amazing. I'm gonna go with Miesha Tate because of that rump, basically. It's beautiful. Marlos Conan has got good jiu-jitsu and everything like that, but her butt doesn't look that good. So we're gonna go with Tate. I really don't follow either of them. Women's MMA is fun to watch, but there's very few, in my opinion. And this isn't Dylan's opinion or anybody else. It's just my opinion. There's not very much talent there. Some of them are very talented, but there's not enough in it for me to be getting really too excited about this. But I am super excited for this one because Miesha Tate is hot. I also like Gina Carano, and I like that Chris Cyborg Santos. But besides those four, for me personally, there isn't that much interest in women's MMA until there starts being a little bit more of a talent pool in it. Once that talent pool comes along, then I think maybe the UFC will look into keeping it on. Hopefully this fight, they're both been saying that they're trying to represent women's MMA for the UFC. I still think you need more talent in it besides just two good fighters for it to really be considered, for Dana White to consider putting it in there. Now, in the main event, the Battle of the Legends, Dan Henderson, who is my favorite fighter, for knocking out Michael Bisping. He's really not my favorite fighter, but he did knock out Michael Bisping. And the guy that I will be rooting for is going to be going against Fedor Emelianenko, the last emperor, who you can see here, who just got his ass kicked by Antonio Bigfoot Silva, which, again, I was happy to see. And also lost to Verdum, who got caught in a submission. I'm going to go with Dan Henderson on this one. I think Fedor should win this one, but I'm going to go with Dan Henderson, only because Dan Henderson's got better wrestling. Dan Henderson's got heavy hands. But Dan Henderson, all he does is look for that big H-bomb. And he's just getting one-dimensional, and I hope he uses his wrestling in this one. Fedor is fast. He's fighting a natural 185er, and Fedor's, 227, I think is what he weighed in at. But he could actually fight at definitely light heavyweight, probably light or middleweight as well, because he's pretty soft. Fedor's trying to get his mystique back on track and all that, and by fighting Dan Henderson, I don't know. I like the fight, but I think Fedor should have fought another heavyweight if he's really trying to go back to being a top heavyweight. You can't go around beating up on 185ers, even if it is Dan Henderson. It'd be, Dan Henderson's not Antonio Silva. He's not gonna, boost by beating him. He ain't gonna boost you that much up back in the heavyweight rankings. He needed to go against another heavyweight, in my opinion. But that's it for this week of the Creepy Villain MMA show. Join us next week, where we will preview what happened and go over the next UFC 133 and do our predictions on that. Dylan will be posting his picks for this one on Facebook tomorrow, so we can both be punished equally. Please leave suggestions for our punishment, and also join us on Facebook at the Creepy Villain MMA show. If you guys want any clothing or anything like that shown on the show, please contact us on the Facebook page, and we will be happy to do it. Oh, cool. And that is it. I will see you guys next week. There's Dylan for one last time. Yay! Reach around. Up. Later.